Everyone has a plan until they're punched in the face. And you might think it's not going to be me who's going to act out. It's going to be my spouse. But until you get punched in the face, like Mike Tyson said, and I'm putting this in quotes because a punch in your face in divorce, thankfully we're not in the boxing ring, but it feels that way sometimes with this pressure. But it's the unexpected court ruling. It could be a false accusation from your spouse. Boom! Just feels terrible. It could be just someone with, draining the accounts. It could be setting up a divorce for years and you weren't aware of it. It could be threatening to take away the children from you. Whatever they're trying to do to rock you, to make you emotional, to get you activated. All right, that's what's happening here. Hey everyone, this is Corey Shapiro, and welcome to Getting Divorced Without Losing Your Mind podcast. Today we're discussing something that might be happening to you right now. Your blood might be boiling. You might be losing control in your divorce. Your worst side may be coming out. Does that happen? We're going to talk about this and just let you know it's completely normal. It's completely normal to get activated during your divorce. It's completely normal. So I want you to feel okay with that. But the key here is realizing that you don't have to act. I don't want you to act when you're activated. It sort of reminds me of that Mike Tyson quote, where everyone has a plan until they're punched in the face. And you might think it's not going to be me who's going to act out. It's going to be my spouse. But until you get punched in the face, like Mike Tyson said, and I'm putting this in quotes because a punch in your face in divorce, thankfully we're not in the boxing ring, but it feels that way sometimes with this pressure. But it's the unexpected court ruling. It could be a false accusation from your spouse. Boom! Just feels terrible. It could be just someone with, draining the accounts. It could be setting up a divorce for years and you weren't aware of it. It could be threatening to take away the children from you. Whatever they're trying to do to rock you, to make you emotional, to get you activated. All right, that's what's happening here. And, let me share a real world example. And I'm going to come up with Waverly, W, Waverly for the wife, and Hudson or husband, but Hudson with the H. And Waverly had a few children, let's say 3 kids. It was the primary caretaker, did mostly everything, 99% of everything. And Hudson was involved in his businesses and wasn't really engaged in the family life. And when he wasn't working, maybe he was hanging out with his friends or playing golf, just wasn't around. And Waverly was such a good mother, even took the kids to Disney World by herself because Hudson was too busy, didn't want to come. But then Hudson all of a sudden wants to get a divorce. And he knows that Waverly is going to ask for all this money, which he doesn't want to pay. So to get to Waverly, to make her activated, he requests a vacation with the kids for a week, which Waverly quickly denies. Because Hudson's never been with the kids. How is he going to do that? Are you getting a little activated if you were Waverly? Well, he goes to court. Court allows the trip because if you are a good enough parent, even if you really never exercised your parenting, maybe the court's going to allow you to go away. It's up to the judge's discretion. And Waverly couldn't say he did anything wrong because really he never did anything. But Waverly couldn't stop there. She was so activated. She was so scared, so wanted to protect her children. She went down there on the vacation, sort of shadowed where the father was. And he claims she's interfering with his parenting time. Gets back to the judge. The judge basically, reprimands Waverly. And now Waverly feels she's not going to get any justice. She's not going to get what she wants in court. And she settles for much less than what she wanted on a financial side. All because she was activated and acted. So let me give you 2 tools so you don't wind up like Waverly, who acted when activated. The first tool is I want you to understand this is all about playing the long game. So the first tool is the 5-year question. This is going to prevent you from making a mistake that you're going to regret tomorrow, let alone in a few years. So before you take any action, especially when you're activated, will this matter in 5 years? Will this matter in 5 years? And if the answer is no, then don't act. Don't act in most cases. Talk to your attorney, talk to a counselor, talk to your therapist, talk to a good friend who can support you in the way you need, who's positive, not negative, not judgmental. So think of tool number 1 to get you out of that activated state. The 5-year question. Now, tool number 2, got it out that way correctly, is the reporter strategy. Instead of firing off these angry texts or, making your spouse or soon-to-be ex feel as bad as you do, just document everything. Document everything. That's why I did my earlier podcast on preparing. You prepare for war, hope for the best. This is also after I did my 24-hour pause. So if you haven't caught or haven't followed along, I'm building this season on all these ideas that come together. The reporter strategy is going to give you a lot of comfort because you are going to plan for that day, that one day when all this may be important. And that's the reporter strategy. So don't act. It's like sort of get even. So bottom line, you can't control. I don't think you can control when you get activated, but you can control what you do when you get activated. And that's the key. Let's get to our reset question. It's almost like an emergency reset. It's almost like the emergency brake today. What outcome do I actually want here? What outcome do I actually want? When you're in that emotional storm, are you so defensive and so reactive? So I see it a lot with these multiple text exchanges where everyone has to have the last word. Everyone has to prove they're right, that they're the shining star. In my experience, most people, there's usually not 2 people who are 100% innocent in most situations. Different degrees of fault. And can you take a step back and see how you're contributing to that? And the big, humongous paradigm shift is just not to act and think about those 2 strategies. Will it matter in 5 years? Let me just document everything. Now, quick, advanced perspective. You're not going to win every battle. You're not going to win every battle. Just like Waverly lost that battle for the trip. Not going to win every battle. But just because you don't win every battle doesn't mean you can't win the war or get close to winning the war. And that's what you want. You want the outcome where you're getting close to winning the war, even though you're going to lose some battles. And that's why you don't act when activated. You want to put yourself in the right situation. All right? That's what you want to do. And you can do it. I know it's hard, but you can do it. This is not easy, but you're here. You're doing the work. You're working on your divorce. You're doing the 24-hour pause. You're creating these boundaries. Yeah, you can do this. Come on, you can do it. All right. Well, thank you. I'm Corey Shapiro. Thanks for joining. Thanks for trying to be more creative, less reactive in your divorce. Until next time.
Thank you for tuning in to the Getting Divorced Without Losing Your Mind podcast. We would love to hear your feedback. Send Corey an email to feedback@gettingdivorced.org. And if you've read his book, please consider leaving an Amazon review. This podcast offers general information only. It cannot replace legal advice. If you need tailored advice, contact an attorney licensed to practice in your area.